On the eve of the Battle of Gaugamela in 331 BCE, Alexander the Great stood silently under the sprawling canopy of stars. His army, a well-disciplined force of Macedonians and Greeks, lay encamped behind him, their fires flickering like distant galaxies. The cool night air was thick with anticipation and the distant murmur of the soldiers' voices. Each man knew that within a few short hours, they would face the might of the vast Persian army led by Darius III, a force that far outnumbered their own. Alexander took a deep breath, his eyes scanning the heavens. The gods have always favored the bold, he whispered to himself, seeking comfort in the thought. Yet, he knew that the fate of his vast ambitions hinged on the coming battle. Victory would not just secure his territories, but reshape the very fabric of the world. It would carve his name in the annals of history as one of the greatest conquerors, a leader who dared to defy the odds. Ptolemy, his trusted friend and commander, approached quietly. Alexander, the men are ready. They await your command, he said, his voice steady but laced with the same undercurrent of tension that gripped them all. Do they have fear in their hearts, Ptolemy? Alexander asked, though he already knew the answer. They do, but it is tempered by their faith in you, Ptolemy replied, his eyes meeting Alexander's with unwavering resolve. Alexander nodded, taking in his friend's words. His mind raced through countless strategies and battle formations, each one meticulously planned to outmaneuver the Persian forces. He knew that they were not just fighting for survival, but for the dream of a unified world under Macedonian rule. Turning towards his tent, he caught a glimpse of his reflection in a polished shield, a face both youthful and hardened by the burdens of leadership. Tomorrow we change the world, he said softly, more to himself than to Ptolemy. As the first light of dawn began to creep over the horizon, casting a pale glow over the landscape, Alexander mounted his horse, Bucephalus, a creature as legendary as its rider. He rode to the front of his army, where thousands of eyes looked up at him with a mix of hope and determination. Raising his spear high, he called out to his men, his voice ringing clear and powerful in the still morning air. Remember this night, for it is the night before our greatest victory. Tomorrow, we fight not just for glory, but for a legacy that will be remembered for centuries to come. Forward, brave souls, to destiny! Cheers erupted from the ranks, a surge of courage rippling through the men. As they began to move towards the battlefield, Alexander felt a profound peace settle over him. No matter what the day held, he knew he had already won in his heart. He had dared to dream beyond the limits of his time, and that, in itself, was a victory.